Khoisan Nation. Khoisan Kure.
From South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
Donald Trump had to win. Donald Trump had to put fire underneath us. For us to wake up, Donald needed to put on this whole thing in order for it to come through to us.
Quickly is saying that the Expropriation Act does not address the history of displacement of the Khoi, the San, and other native and indigenous communities. Joining us now is member of the Khoisan Council, Stanley Peterson. Prof. Peterson, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Perhaps give us a sense of what the position of the Khoisan Council is on the Expropriation Act signed into law by the President.
Marisa, thank you. It's just good evening, good afternoon to our people. Look, we as a National Khoisan Council represent the Khoi and San people of South Africa. We are delighted that the President signed the act into law. But the problem that we have now is we're sitting with thieves that own our land. And now we want to negotiate with thieves about our land. That is the biggest problem and challenge we have.
Because if they take this act further than 1930, that means the Zulu loses their land, the Bantu loses their land, the Twang else. As a matter of fact, I said all that will be left over, the European foreigner and the Bantu foreigner. The only thing that will be left over is the ships that they came on in here with. And a lot of people have been telling me, but they didn't come in ships, they were always here. I beg to differ.
Yes.
There is evidence.
Yes.
The Ammonfoot is the one ship that they came in, but you can go and look this up for yourself.
Yes.
That the Bantus of Southern Africa were brought in as slaves because the Khoi and the San refused to work on the lands. The Khoi and the San kept on resisting. They kept on resisting, which means Jan van Riebeeck actually wrote to the then, I can't get to his name now, and said to them, the colony cannot flourish because the Khoi is giving them a hard time.
Donald Trump is doing the right thing for the indigenous people. Donald Trump is doing the right thing unknowingly to the indigenous people. Everything Donald Trump is doing is for our greater good. It's for us. I told Sissy, I told you somewhere 2 weeks ago that open pavilion. I will be in the audience.
You're watching from the balcony. Yes, you're watching from the balcony.
I'm watching from there, and I will. For me, this is the fight between the Bantu and the white. It's not our fight. They made contracts. They understood one another back then to colonize us. To take people must give back land. Backdated to as of from that. And I explained to this person that for me, Donald Trump had to win. Donald Trump had to win. Donald Trump had to put fire underneath us. For us to wake up, Donald needed to put on this whole thing in order for it to come through to us. For us to realize that we need to come back to Africa and wake our leaders up, because these are the political leaders that we have chosen. These are the people that we have to keep accountable for whatever they did. We have to keep them accountable for the losses they've made, for the contracts they've signed, cutting out the indigenous people. I'm not going to talk tonight. I'm not going to talk about anything other than what is rightfully ours.
Yeah. If 1913 is not sufficient enough a historical date to go back to, how far back must the conversation of land claims and land restitution go?
Look, the Constitution of South Africa says we are all equal before the law, and our voices must be heard as minority group. We have got a right to life. That is what the UN Charter says. Now the problem is here. Once you said you can claim land post 1913, you exclude us as the Khoi-San people. Now we don't, the Constitution is violating our rights, because we were here before anybody were here. That is our ultimate challenge here. Because when the other people came here, they came with the churches, like the missionary stations. And then the state gives that person with the Bible, get the church the land, where the people were occupying that land first.
It was a systematic, you must remember that in Southern Africa, it was a systematic grab of land, right? When Jan van Riebeeck came, there was a grab of land. Then colonization in it, and a system called apartheid came in. And when apartheid came in, that was the Group Areas Act. Then whatever, that is why I tell people, if you are Khoi, if you say you are Khoi, as a matter of fact, if you say you are native, there's no way that you own land. There's no way that you own your indigenous land. Because when apartheid came in, the Group Areas Act said that a colored person, a person of color, which is a native person, which is a descendant of the Khoi and the San, it is illegal for you to own land. So then all of us lost our land, respectively. Now, he is trying to say, Cyril Ramaphosa is saying, they only wish to address the Group Areas Act, those who lost their land during the Group Areas Act. He's excluding all the other land that was lost previous to the Group Areas Act. And yeah, so that is because if he takes this date further back,
these people will lose the land. These people. But this is, so my people, I'm talking from a spiritual perspective now. This is inevitable. What's about to happen and what is already happening is inevitable. We just need to stand in our power as a First Nation and all First Nations all over the world. I'm so proud of the Maori people. They actually encouraged me to push harder and to do us Khoi-San are known for truth. We are known for truth. We don't beat around the bush. We call a spade a spade. And if you come to us, you better come right. Like my sister said earlier, I'm from a Hessequa tribe. And the interesting thing that she mentioned was, with the Hessequa tribe, we are no-nonsense people.